Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode with Rusi Baby. As a single guy, as a single lady, when you're in a relationship with someone, when you're in a serious relationship with someone, it is very important that at a certain stage, you guys get to ask each other vital questions. And these vital questions usually come in form of a compatibility test. It is very important that you go for a compatibility test. You can just bring out time for the both of you to ask each other questions, or you can get someone to ask you guys questions to get to know each other. Compatibility test. Compatibility test is more like a tool that it's usually in form of a quiz or a set of questions, yes, that helps couples to know how compatible they are. It helps them to know the vital areas of that relationship. Now, this compatibility test is not for you to know if your partner is perfect or not. No, of course, you know that nobody is perfect, yes. But it's for you to know and understand the strengths and differences in that relationship. It's for you to know how compatible you are with your partner. This compatibility test helps you guys to know how well you match in key areas of a relationship. So, this compatibility test, it covers various questions from vital areas of a relationship, like, first of all, your values and beliefs, your personality types. You need to ask each other questions, get to know your partner's how your partner's temperament interacts, more like whether the person is an introvert or an extrovert, questions like that. Then their lifestyle preferences, such as their daily habits, their routines, their hobbies, all those things. You need to ask questions about their future goals. Yes, to know if your own goals align with that of your partner, especially in areas like marriage, kids, career, other things. You need to ask questions about their emotional needs, how they respond to love and support. Ask questions about their communication styles. How clearly and respectfully do they talk and listen? It's really important. Ask questions about conflict handling. How do they manage conflict? How do they react during disagreement? Because it's not everybody that handles conflict the same way. There are people that handle conflict by silent treatment. There are people that handle conflict by outbursts, by trying to say their mind to make sure they are not at fault. There are people that are like that. There are introverts, there are extroverts. So it's very important that you ask these questions. It's very important that you ask questions about their physical and their sexual compatibility. Their intimacy and attraction levels. These questions are very important. It's not something that you should ask after getting married. It's something that you should ask before getting married. It is really important. And finally, it's very important that you ask questions about their family and culture. Make inquiries. Ask questions about that person's background, their culture, their belief. All these things are really important. These are questions you need to ask before getting married. This compatibility test is something that you need to do before getting married, not after getting married. Because if you take that test after getting married and you now realize that you guys are not actually compatible in a very vital area, what do you do? It will now be too late. Don't forget that you also need to ask questions about their health, genotype, and things related to that. Very, very important. In fact, before your relationship even gets to the level of being a serious relationship, you should know that person's genotype. That it should even be what will determine whether it will get to the level of being a serious relationship. That one is very, very important. So these are vital questions. This compatibility test is really, really important. You can decide to ask each other these questions. You can decide to make someone ask you the question. It could be a therapist, it could be a counselor. Anybody can do it for you guys. The main thing is that you ask these questions and get answers. It is really important. And also very, very important, you need to find out your partner's financial attitudes, yes, their approach towards money and spending. Now, you know how money can be, how people and money can be. It's not just about asking the person the way they spend and all of that. You also need to observe. Yes. So this one is not just something you just ask. It's good that you ask, but you need to observe that person's financial attributes. Observe how they handle money, how they react towards money. So why is it very important that you take a compatibility test? Because it will help you to identify each other's strengths and differences. It will help you identify potential red flags. It will also help you guys to start deeper conversations. And finally, it will help you guys to grow closer through understanding each other. Because it is when you ask each other questions, deep and vital questions like this, that you get to understand each other more, get to know each other more in that relationship. It is very important that couples take compatibility tests, especially before getting married. More importantly, before getting married, yes, because it gives them insights that can strengthen or challenge their relationship. So what do couples really learn from compatibility tests? And that is the main thing I want to discuss in today's episode. What are the vital things that they get to understand, comprehend, they get to learn from compatibility tests? But of course, before I begin what we really have for today's episode, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Also like and comment on my videos as well. I want to use this opportunity to thank all those that made it possible for my channel to get up to 2,000 subscriptions. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much, guys, for making it possible. And our next target is 5,000 subscription. Please, to all my viewers that have not subscribed, please, what are you waiting for? Kindly subscribe to this channel so that you can continue to get wonderful insights on relationship and marriage. So keep it coming. Thank you so much for that. So what do couples learn from compatibility test? Why is compatibility test very important for couples? Firstly, it helps them to know their core value alignment. Yeah, to know whether their core values align. You know, it's very important to know whether your compatibility level towards your beliefs and your values is the same. You also have to learn to align those values. It helps them to know whether they have the same life principles. Through compatibility tests, couples get to know their communication styles. Yes, how they express their thoughts and emotions, and whether they feel heard or not in that relationship. Your emotional compatibility and that of your partner is known through compatibility tests. Yes, how you handle your feelings, your affection and empathy. It is very important, because it is possible that after this compatibility test that you realize that you're not compatible with your partner emotionally, because not everybody handle their feelings and emotions the same way. There is a way that is just about your personality, about you handling your feelings and affection, that will make the both of you not compatible. It is possible that, because for example, if you're the type of person that, or your partner is the type of person that expresses his or handles his or her affection and feelings in a bad way, it could turn out that you guys are not emotionally compatible. If your partner is the type that expresses or handles his or her feelings or affection through aggression or manipulation or silent treatment, you know, all those bad ways of handling emotions, if it's something that you cannot handle as a person, it means that the both of you are not emotionally compatible. So there are some people that this is a turn off for them. It's a red flag for them, and it can even make them to end that relationship. There are people that cannot handle people that handle their affections with aggression. Yes, because if you notice those signs, especially at the early stage of that relationship, it is usually seen as a red flag. That is why this compatibility test is very important, especially before getting married. You also get to know each other's conflict resolution approaches. Yes, it's really very important. To know whether you you avoid, confront, or compromise during disagreements. Life goals and vision are also realized during compatibility tests. Yes, it's really important to know whether your plans for the future align towards your career, your kids, your lifestyle. All these things are really, really important. I know of a couple, like they were not yet married, but they were in a serious relationship. They were already talking about marriage. But because their plans for the future did not align, at the very point where they were now talking about marriage, that relationship had to end. That is how important this compatibility test is. Very important. Do you know that this couple, although they are not yet married, yes, they were in a serious relationship. Now their plans for the future did not align. It is not what the lady wanted that the guy also wanted. The lady wanted a serious relationship. Yes, the guy also wanted a serious relationship. But she wanted to attain a high level of success, a certain level of success before settling down, which will actually take years. But the guy wanted to settle down like immediately, like he wanted to settle down really soon. Not like immediately, but really soon. So their future plans, if you see the way the lady was talking plans, you will know that indeed their plans for the future did not align. And for that reason only, that relationship had to end. So compatibility test is very, very important. And it's more important that you get this compatibility test before getting married. If you see these people I'm talking about, they look so good together. They are good friends. They look like a perfect match. But just because their life goals and vision was not the same, their plans for the future did not align, they had to end that relationship. So it is very important that you have this compatibility test. Through compatibility test, you get to know your partner's financial compatibility. Yes, their attitude towards saving, spending, and managing money. You know, money is very, very important. There is a way that your partner's attitude will be towards money that can cost you that relationship. You know, you cannot be financially compatible with everybody. Yes, there are people that were in a serious relationship already talking about marriage, but just because they were not financially compatible with each other, it cost them that relationship. One person may have been an extravagant spender, and the other person is just so good at managing money that it irritates them so much that their partner is this extravagant spender. There are people that just for this reason they had to end their relationship because they realized that they were not financially compatible, and so many other ways of not being financially compatible, not just by extravagant spending and all of that. There are so many other ways of not being financially compatible. So it's very important that you know your partner's level of compatibility towards money, because you know that money is very, very important. You also get to learn your sexual compatibility. You know, the sexual aspect of your marriage is very important. So you need to learn your preferences, your libido, openness to discussing things related to intimacy. You know, there is a way that you will be incompatible with your partner sexually that can cost you that relationship. It happens a lot. You know, this sex is very, very important in marriage. So people don't joke with it, and you shouldn't as well. There are some issues with sex that can cost you your relationship. For example, like mismatched libidos, like erectile dysfunction, like different love language, different sexual interest, you know, so many things, trust issues, so many things related to sex that if you guys are incompatible, it is a sign that it is a red flag, and it's also something that can cost you that relationship. It happens a lot. So the sexual compatibility is very, very important. Knowing the level of sexual compatibility is very important, and it is known through this compatibility test. That is how important a compatibility test is. You also get to learn your social preferences. Yes, you get to know the introvert and or extrovert dynamics of your partner, and also your social life expectations. You also get to learn about your partner's family backgrounds. Yes, it's important that you learn how your partner's upbringing and cultures influences their views and habits. And it is when you ask questions that you get answers about these things. That is why it is important that you take this test. Marriage is not just physical, but also spiritual. In fact, it is more spiritual than physical. So you need to learn about your partner's religious and spiritual beliefs. And not just learning about the beliefs, but also understand and know if these beliefs, if your belief and that of your partner, whether it conflicts or complements each other. It is very important that you know these things early enough. Because if it conflicts each other, then there is a problem. Through this test, you also get to learn your trust levels. Yes, I know trust comes in various forms. You come in the form of comfort with transparency. It will come in form of loyalty, come in form of dependability. So it's really important that you know your trust levels and other forms of trust. Yes, so trust is one of the things that you need to build the foundation of that relationship and marriage. So your trust levels are very, very important. You also get to learn your emotional availability. Yeah, that's the willingness to be vulnerable to each other. You also get to know the willingness to also support each other in the marriage. Through compatibility test, you get to know your decision making styles in that relationship. Yes, get to know who leads and who follows, and how decisions are made, how decisions will be made when you guys get married. Not every family operates the same way. There are homes where it is the woman that is leading and the man is following, but nobody knows. Even if everybody knows it, they don't care. There are homes where it is the woman that is paying the bills, and their home is okay. The man is okay with it, like the home is at peace. Their family is working and doing very okay. Whether people know or not is none of their business. So whichever one it is, whether it is the man that is leading and the woman is following, or the woman that is leading and the man is following, do what works for you. Do what will make your home be at peace. So it is through this compatibility test that you get to know decision-making styles. Who will lead and who will follow, how decisions will be made, how your home will be structured in every area. So that is how important the compatibility test is. You also get to know about your boundaries and individuality. Yes, you get to learn each other's respect for alone time and individuality. Through compatibility test, you also get to learn each other's love language. Yes, very important. How you give and receive love. It is very important that you learn each other's way of giving and receive love. And it will come in various ways. Come in form of words, touch, acts, etc. So many ways. Everybody's love language is not the same. So you need to learn each other's love language so that you can speak that love language. If you don't learn your partner's love language, how will you be able to speak that language? So it's very important. For example, there are ladies that love gifts. That is their own love language. They love gifts very well. So whenever their partner buys them gifts, they see it and they appreciate that their partner knows how to speak their own love language. There are men that sex is their love language. Yes. Like they really love it when, for example, they buy their wife gifts and she reciprocates with sex. He doesn't even mind whether the wife buys him gifts in return as well. They don't mind. That is his own love language, sex. But there are also men that love gifts. Their love language is gifts. They love it when they buy gifts for their wife and their wife reciprocates with a gift. So everybody's love language is not the same. That is why you need to learn your partner's love language so that you can speak that love language. And it is this compatibility test that will help you to learn and understand your partner's love language. Through this test, you also get to learn responsibility sharing. Yes, how to share tasks, roles, commitments in the daily life of your marriage. It is through this test that you learn conflict triggers. Yes, those repeating patterns that can cause emotional shutdown, that can cause tension in your marriage. It is very important that you get to know the conflict trigger so that you can avoid whatever that will trigger tension in your marriage, and so that you can have peace. So anything that will trigger conflict in your partner, avoid it. But you cannot avoid it if you don't know it. So it is this test that will help you to learn those conflict triggers so that you can avoid them or know how to manage them in marriage. This test helps you to learn expectations from the relationship. What the both of you want in the long run. It is very important. If you know what you want and what your partner wants, it will help you guys a lot in marriage. Last but not the least, compatibility tests will help you to learn adaptability and growth. Yes, the willingness to change and to grow together. And finally, for today's episode, compatibility test helps you to know the overall compatibility score, which is a holistic view of all the areas you need to work on in your relationship and marriage. That is how important this compatibility test is. And there are so many other areas, so many other things that you will learn from this compatibility test. It is very, very important. I just mentioned about 20 things that you learn from compatibility test, but there are so many more. That is how important it is. Take this test as often as possible. Take out time to take this test. Ask questions before you say I do. So that is all for today's episode. What is your view about having a compatibility test? I would love to really know your opinion about this compatibility test. It is very, very important. So whether you're single, you're in a relationship, serious relationship, or you're married, you need to understand that this compatibility test is important. Even the married people can also take this compatibility test. Maybe you didn't know about it, or you didn't think it was necessary before you got married, but now that you're married, it is not too late. You get to learn about your partner every day, so it is not yet too late. So you can still get this compatibility test even as you guys are now married. It's not a bad idea. So that is all for today's episode. Thank you so much for watching my video today. Thanks so much for listening, and please, of course, do not forget to subscribe to my channel. Keep the subscription coming. Also like, and don't forget to comment. I'm waiting for your opinion about this compatibility test in the comment section, so don't forget to like and comment on my videos as well. Thank you so much for watching. See you in my next episode.